Welcome to the Anorak Entertainment Podcast, everybody. How's it going? I am your host, Martino, and today we have a lot of super cool news to get to. We got the Venom 2 trailer, which we forgot to get to on the last episode, but we'll get to it today. Yeah. We have a Green Knight trailer. That movie looks super interesting. The big story today, obviously, being that we got the first look of Paul Dano's Riddler for the upcoming movie, The Batman. We also got the Bad Boys directors directing a Batgirl film, so that should be pretty cool as well, and much, much more. So happy you could be here to tune in, everybody. So happy. But before we get started here today, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. And sitting with me today is Miss Samee Ramirez on the news. Samee, how you doing today? Good to see you. Good to see
hello.
You.
Doing good. Happy as always.
Good.
Got some good news today, so
yeah, we do. Yeah, I'm ready for it. And so that should be a lot of fun to talk about for sure. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here. It's been a really, really great day, I'll tell you what. But before we get started today as well, just some quick house cleaning, guys. You guys can leave us now a tip link. Or a tip using the tip link, which is up top where I'm pointing right now. That's streamelements.com/anorak/tip. So make sure you go over there and check that out. You can have your messages read out here on the show. And also we do have a merch store now, so you can check that out at merch.streamelements.com/anorak. So be sure to do so. We got some great stuff going on over there. I know a couple of you have already bought some merch, so thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. So definitely helps us out here quite a bit. But yeah, I gotta tell you this really, really cool thing that I read today, Samee, or actually watched, not read. Richard Dreyfuss did an interview on What About Bob? I guess this was like a year ago. And he talked about Bill Murray. And I guess Bill Murray on the set, like, threw an ashtray at his head, like a really heavy one. Like one of those really heavy ashtrays. Like, he was saying that Bill Murray was, like, a complete bully. Would, like, come in drunk, like, scream in his face. I was blown away by that. Like, that was not the dynamic I assumed that they had on set there. But, yeah. But I read that because I think today or yesterday was the it was just sometime this week, I think, was the 30th anniversary of What About Bob. And Yahoo News did a whole article on it and was talking about that interview because that interview was with Yahoo. So they were talking about that, and so I was like, oh shit, well, I gotta find that video now where he's talking about it. And yeah, he was basically going through like all of his iconic roles, Richard Dreyfuss, about a year ago. Mm-hmm. And he had just brought up that when he got to What About Bob, he just seemed so unenthusiastic to actually talk about it, which just saddens me quite a bit because of, obviously I love that movie.
Such a great movie.
Very, very much.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorites. I don't know. I don't know. But the other thing, I gotta tell the audience, I'm plugging this. I'm not gonna get into a whole things we talked about on stereo yesterday, but I am plugging this. Guys, if you have not, go find the Princess Bride home movie. It's so freaking funny and entertaining and just wonderful, and it's the lowest budget thing in the world, but basically any actor you can think of partook. Is partook a word? I never actually used
partook. Yeah.
Okay, well, they partook in it, and so I guess I never used that word before, but somehow it came from my subconscious.
That's real. I don't know if that's not a real word. I'm gonna Google it because I'm an English major, and if I get this wrong, it will be embarrassing forever. So let me just look it up. Yeah. Partake. It's a word.
Partake is a word. I'm talking about partook. Partook.
Oh, partook? Partake is a word. So I would assume the past tense would be
partook.
Partook, which would also be a word. Yeah, partook.
Partook is a word. Okay.
It is. It's the past tense of partake. So yep.
Yeah.
They partake in as well.
Yeah.
That's also correct.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. That's the correct answer.
Obviously, I know about partake. That's how you tell somebody you smoke marijuana. I partake. But,
absolutely. Yeah, but you know that it's grammatically correct now.
Right.
Feels good. Yeah. For me, at least.
Or that you don't smoke pot. I don't partake. And
right.
Personally, folks, I don't partake. I'll just throw that out there right now. Not usually. Nothing against you if you do partake.
I'm a partaker, if you will. Personally.
Yeah.
So we got half and half.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this story.
I don't really drink though. That's the thing. Like, I'm not a drinker. It's not like I drink and smoke. It's like I literally only really partake. Yeah. I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it levels it out.
You partake, I partay. So there you go.
Sure. That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking about the story today. I because I'm not gonna say the business out on the air, but I did find out something about my grandparents today, and I told you about this, and it's a good thing, but I'm not gonna share what it was on the air. But I was thinking about this story today, and it's just brought up my it just came into my mind after this. But I was thinking about the time. Did I ever tell you this story where we went through the car wash with my grandparents when I was a kid? I don't know why it popped in my head today thinking about it, but it was one of those car washes where like you drive through it, but like before you drive through it, somebody comes out with a hose and hoses you down, so that they do like the whole car manually, and then you go through the actual like electronic like car wash after. This guy, he comes up with a hose, and you're supposed to tip these guys apparently at these fancy car washes. So he's coming around with a hose. And my grandfather just fucking opens the window to tip him, and the guy just sprays the water like in the car. All of us got wet. I'll never forget that. It was just one of the funniest things from my childhood for sure. And like, of course, the money's soaked, and if you knew my grandfather at all, like, this is so him. He was just like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, just yelling at the guy for hosing him when he rolled down the window. But really my grandfather's fault for rolling it down when the guy was coming around, I don't know. I mean, it's a human error, right? It's a common mistake. I mean, it's doable. I'm sure if my family watches the show, they'll have a laugh at that, because that story just oh my gosh, I've never experienced anything like it. But we were like soaked in the car. Like, I think my mother and I were in the back seat. We got it like a little bit, but like I just remember my grandmother.
You're drenched.
My grandmother got it the most, I think. Like, her glasses like were just so water filled, and it was just it was quite the time. I don't know. Like, I never asked you, are your grandparents still around?
No.
Yeah,
none of them.
Mine either. Yeah. Were you close with them, like when you were growing up, or?
Kind of. They all died when I was very young. My mom's father was the last one to die, and he died when I was about like 13. So that's the longest relationship I've had with any of them. But when I was little, I used to because I was born and grew up a little bit in San Diego, and all my grandparents two lived in Imperial Valley, California, and the other lived in Orange County. So it was like a 4-hour drive to get to them. So I saw them a lot when I was like little. But so that was kind of it. And don't remember much, but
yeah. I mean, it's hard losing grandparents. Like, I just lost my grandmother like 2 years ago, so it's like so I definitely like knew her a long time, and my grandfather, I remember so well. Like, he was like, I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with me here when I say this, but he was like Archie Bunker, if you've ever seen All in the Family when you were growing up. I don't know.
I haven't, but I can imagine.
Old show with like Rob Reiner and Rob Reiner was the son-in-law, and Archie Bunker, but always call him the meathead. But his name was Michael Stinson was the character, but the Archie Bunker was his father-in-law, and he would always call him Meathead. That was my grandfather, though. Like he was like that. Like I just remember, like, if I passed gas as a kid, he'd be like, "Why don't you stick up your ass and tell me if it's funny?" Because I would start laughing, and you just nice. Great guy, though. I promise. There's so many great memories with him, and it just he was a wonderful fella. He had a great heart. You know what I mean? But
that's awesome.
Bad temper. So he just but like the shit he said was just classic, funny, quotable. Like some of my favorite quotes ever have come from my grandfather, just because he just you could have made a sitcom out of this guy, like he did. Like he was so much Archie Bunker, smoked his cigars like Archie Bunker, which hopefully the audience knows what I'm talking about. I know you don't really know, but did you know, actually, this is funny, you're a fan of Night at the Museum, right? We talked about those.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they even might mention it in the movie, but I knew that, but I definitely remember hearing about it in the behind the scenes thing, because it was like a big deal to them, because I think it was in the second one, there's like in the Smithsonian, right? The second one's the Smithsonian, right? So they have this like the one with Rami Malek. I'm thinking about it, I forgot he was in that.
Yes.
But so that was the one.
What's the third one called? I can't for the life of me think of what the third one's called. Not off the top of my head.
Me either.
The second one is Battle of the Smithsonian. And then what's the third one? I saw it.
I know.
I've seen it.
I remember really liking it too.
It doesn't exist in my brain, I don't think. I don't think it registered in my brain. I don't remember it. I have to look it up.
The first one and the second one I remember so well, and the third one I barely even remember the plot, because I remember enjoying it. I remember Dick Van Dyke came back in it. I remember that for some reason. He was back, and I remember being very happy to see him. And I think it was
Secret of the Tomb.
That's right. That's
such a basic name, though. Like, I forgive myself for forgetting. Yeah.
But there's there's a part in Smithsonian where they have this chair, and it's actually Archie Bunker's chair, like that he would sit in the show. It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it. Cool. Yeah, I think they mentioned it in the movie too. Now that I'm thinking about it, so it's not really a big like tidbit, I guess. That is
just such a good idea for a movie.
What?
Like Night at the Museum.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's a great pitch.
I can't believe it took as long as it did for a movie like that to come along, because that's just such a good idea.
Yeah, I remember seeing
I remember seeing it and being like, this is creative. This is interesting.
Yeah, I remember being a kid and thinking that too. Like, it felt fresh when I saw it as a kid. I was like, why isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Why hasn't anybody done this before? I remember seeing it with a group of my friends, and just by the end of the movie, I was like, I love that.
Because that's what I always thought. Every time I went to a museum as a child, like, that's always that was my biggest dream, that it would all come to life and I could interact with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how has no one else thought of that?
Yeah.
Until now.
It's true. I had the first one on Blu-ray. I haven't popped it in a while. Maybe I'll put that on again.
I used to have the first one on DVD for a long time, because the first one I've seen a ton of times.
Yeah, first one's best.
Yeah. Second one's pretty great though too.
Yeah, I thought all of them were good. Yeah. All three did. I don't know how they did in terms of how they were received. I know I liked all three. I think
they did all right. They got a trilogy.
Yeah.
They must have done all right. The second one must have done at least as good.
Yeah, the first one was like a hit, I remember. Like box office wise. Like it smashed. It smashed that first one.
That was a big movie, I remember. Yeah. So the second one must have done at least just as well, or close to it.
Yeah. At least. It must have. Yeah, Ben Stiller's had kind of this, like, he's got one of the craziest resumes in all of Hollywood, I swear, because you look at what what was the first thing you remember seeing Ben Stiller in?
Oh, the first thing I remember seeing Ben Stiller in. You know what? The first thing I remember Ben Stiller in was as Alex the Lion in Madagascar, because I knew who those voices were. I remember watching interviews with the cast.
I don't even remember. I kind of do now. You remember
Madagascar, the DreamWorks movie?
Yeah, I kind of do now that you say it. I forgot all about that. That's crazy.
The New York Zoo animals.
Yeah, now I do. Yeah.
Run away. Yeah, they get kidnapped or something.
Yeah, weren't those movies bad though? Weren't those movies not good?
Debatable. The third one's not good. The third one is literally the third one is co-written by Noah Baumbach, and it's alleged that that's how he paid for his divorce.
Oh wow.
Like that, he had to do that movie because his divorce fees were so high.
Yeah.
So that's the nicest thing I have to say about the third one.
It's
that it paid for his divorce.
Co-led, as in
written.
Co-written.
He helped write the script.
Okay,
yeah, he co-wrote the
script. I thought you meant he acted in it, and I was like, yeah, he must have. He must have needed money.
Yeah, no, he co-wrote it. Yeah.
Well, it must be how he paid for his divorce.
But the first two, I remember really liking as a kid. I didn't revisit them in a very long time, but I loved the first two as a kid. I remember the third one being like, I don't like this as much.
I gotcha.
But those first two.
First thing I remember seeing Ben Stiller in was Happy Gilmore. He was the super at the nursing home.
Okay. Yeah. I really wanted to watch Happy Gilmore again. It's been a very long time.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And I really want to watch it.
Really great flick. It's classic Sandler. I quote that movie all the time. And that was like my favorite.
Like back in the day when I was like watching all of his movies for the first time, that and the Wedding Singer is my favorite Adam Sandler movie of all time, but Happy Gilmore was up there.
Yeah,
I just haven't seen it in a long time.
Did you see the new it's not a good movie, but the one on Netflix, the Halloween one Sandler did? Did we talk about that?
Okay. I did not. Well, I didn't give one. To be honest, I didn't give one shit about that movie. I did not care.
Oh, it sucks. It's bad. Mark loved it. But it's terrible.
Obviously. I would expect nothing less.
But the best part
predictable at this point.
Best part of that movie is the beginning. I recommend putting the beginning on because he does bring Ben Stiller back, the character from Happy Gilmore, in it, and like it's funny. He does it really well again. Like it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely the super from Happy Gilmore. Like, you remember him very well, and his role was just ridiculous in there. Like the fact that he was in that movie at all, but it's Sandler. I mean, he does that. He brings back old characters and puts them in the most ridiculous of places, and used to work, and now not so much. Used to be funny, but that part was really funny. It's the best part of the whole movie is that beginning with him. Nice. The one thing I was gonna say, and then they had like Dodgeball. And did you see Duplex? Do you remember Duplex with Ben Stiller and Drew Barrymore?
No,
you have to watch this movie.
That doesn't even ring a bell. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, it's a comedy for sure, but I think it's like, to me, that's like the first of Ben Stiller's like turn to like more cinema type movies. You know what I mean? It's like a comedy, but it's a really well directed like comedy, and it's really like, it's one of his best movies. It's so funny, and he's just like, the whole concept is amazing because it's this him and his wife like move into a duplex, and there's this old lady there that just bothers the shit out of him on the other floor. And, like, they spend the whole movie trying to figure out how to kill this old woman. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Hands down, gotta see it. Great Ben Stiller film. That was also an early one I remember seeing him in, but that was, like, again, his first turn to, like, more cinematic type movies, I guess, or not cinematic, but you know what I'm saying, like artsy maybe. Dramas. I don't want to say like artsy either, but that's not even a drama. That's the thing. It's so funny. It's not. It's like it feels like it was directed by somebody who would have directed a drama, though. You know what I mean? Even though it's like hilarious, it's got like the fundamentals of great filmmaking in it. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, then there was like Dodgeball, and then he's got
Walter Mitty. I really liked. I've only seen it once, amazing. But I really liked it.
Yeah, first film he directed. He read the book, I think he said, on Tropic Thunder, and
oh my god, and Tropic Thunder, obviously.
Yeah,
I recently saw Tropic Thunder like a few months ago. Loved it.
Yeah, I feel like he had one before Tropic Thunder that was also really, really good, or funny at least. Can't remember. Heartbreak Kid. That was it. Did you see Heartbreak Kid?
Oh, I haven't.
It's so good. It's him and his wife. He always picks like really good concepts. I think that's part of the reason his career sustained so long.
Right.
It's because he picks movies with really great concepts. But this one was like him and his wife like go. He gets married because he's basically pressured into it. Like he's like in his mid like 50s. I remember thinking this is weird because it was the first movie Ben Stiller turned up in that he actually had some gray hair. I remember thinking that was really odd.
The new era.
Yeah, that was like the new era of Stiller right there because when Heartbreak Kid came out, he's like completely gray in that movie almost, and he goes Anyway, he meets his wife. They go on this honeymoon, and she turns out to be like a psychopath, like an absolute psychopath. And like he has to figure out. Like I don't remember how this actually happened, but at some point he actually gets stranded on this like island that they go to, and he like hysterically like becomes like one of the island natives, and like he speaks their language, and it's a really funny, I don't want to say mess of a movie because it's good, like it is actually really good, like it's definitely worth checking out. But I haven't seen that one in a while. But Carlos Mencia was in there, which is really weird though because his career is like over now. But you remember Mencia? Did you watch Mencia as a kid?
It rings a bell. I don't know if I've actually watched it, but I know what you mean.
It was big on Comedy Central, like until Joe Rogan called him out for stealing other people's jokes, and that's how his career ended. But I don't know. Ben Stiller, weird resume, I guess, is where I was going. And then he's got like Noah Baumbach movies, like the Meyerowitz stories, and what was the other one he did?
While We're Young.
While We're Young is great. Yeah, I love While We're Young. And then Greenberg, which I actually own and have never put in, but that's another Noah Baumbach he did.
Nice.
Yeah. So
and Madagascar 3
and Madagascar 3 right, another Noah Baumbach. I guess that counts. I just
counts. Like, God, that counts.
Yeah,
it counts.
Yeah, for sure it does. Yeah, so weird his resume. He's been all over the place, and now he's like such a terrific actor. Oh, that other one too, that's another one I forgot about, Brad Status. Did you see that one? I actually own that movie. It's on Amazon Prime if you haven't seen it. You gotta see Brad Status. Ben Stiller's best performance might be Brad Status, actually, now I'm thinking about it. He's really great in Brad Status. It's a Prime original. I definitely recommend checking it out. Let's see here. Anyway, you got any news for us today? I mean, obviously you do, but
I got some news for you. All right,
let's get in some news.
All right, so first up, there is going to be a new Batman animated series from J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. It's going to be on HBOMAX. That's really all we really know. And then we have that it's being billed as a reimagining of the Batman mythology. So, I mean, obviously, this is really exciting because it's coming directly from Matt Reeves, who, as we know, is directing The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, my boy. And I mean, we'll talk about that movie a little bit later, but it's one of my most anticipated movies of the next couple of years.
For sure.
And so to be getting an animated series, it's going to be called Batman Caped Crusader.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's just super exciting. Like, I'm like, keep the Batman content. It's good. Keep the Batman content coming.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
It raises a lot of questions for me. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I gotta wonder, what is this new DC plan? We got J.J. Abrams working on a Superman, and Matt Reeves doing a Batman, and now they're coming together to do a Batman animated series. Is this a part of all one universe? Is J.J. Abrams' Superman going to be in Matt Reeves' universe? It would actually make a lot of sense. But on one end it would, because they're really good friends. Obviously, the last time they teamed up, we got Cloverfield, which that's a good sign. I hope that they're teaming up to work something out like that again. That's better, you know what I mean, than the DCEU that we've had. I like it, but there's been a lot of missteps in the current DCEU, so I hope they're kind of building their own DC universe. That would be really cool if that's how it's going to go. But the thing is to me, the reason it raises questions too is because, like, if that's the case, it doesn't feel like it fits in Robert Pattinson's world, because Robert Pattinson's playing a very, what seems like a very grounded Batman, you know what I mean, and a very, like, probably the most grounded and gritty Batman that we've had so far. And I mean, I'm gonna even imagine that it's gonna be more grounded than the Dark Knight trilogy Batman. That's just based on the trailer. I could tell that's what they're going for. So if J.J. Abrams brings in a Superman in that same universe, and to me it's a sign that he might, considering they're teaming up to do something in animated form, that they're kind of building out their own canon in DC. That it's like, would a Superman fit in Robert Pattinson's Batman universe based on what we see in the trailer and based on what I hope it is? I don't know, because Superman to me is like so methodical. Like, how would you do a Superman that felt so grounded? I mean, do you think that's doable?
I mean, yes, because I think Zack Snyder did it a little bit already, created a grounded Superman. I'm thinking back to Zack Snyder did an interview for Variety, maybe, but it was one of those things where it was like a video interview and they go through his filmography, like his career, and he just talks about all the hits basically. And when they get to Man of Steel, he was talking about how like he was comparing it to Watchmen, how Watchmen is the construct of superheroes kind of presented for you and then deconstructed, versus Man of Steel is the superhero trope already deconstructed and now we have to build it back up.
Right.
And to me, I thought that was that was the perfect, like, he put into words what I couldn't, but that's how I feel about his Superman, that it is coming from that place of, yes, the construct is broken, but we also need it. So how do we interact with that?
Yeah.
So I think that's possible. That is definitely possible. I also am looking through the article, and there is also going to be a Superman animated show on HBO Max called My Adventures with Superman, with Jack Quaid voicing Clark Kent. So I'm thinking, if nothing else, those will probably, I'm assuming, that'd be really cool if you can get a crossover. I mean, I've also heard the Harley Quinn HBO Max show is pretty damn awesome as well.
Yeah. Well, that's
so
a way
we get some crossovers there.
For some reason, I wasn't thinking of that. Like, if you introduce the concept in animated form of like a Superman entering the Pattinson, Matt Reeves kind of world, like maybe if you do that, then you could buy it a little bit more when we get around to the live action part. That could be something interesting to do, and that might make some sense. Excuse me, but yeah, I'm thinking of like Joker, for example, like that movie. If you saw like the Cape Crusader come flying in that movie, you'd be like, what the fuck? I feel like in Joker, and I was kind of hoping that Batman would stay on that level, or this Batman, at least for a little while. But me, I'm the biggest, Man of Steel defender in the world. Like, I love that movie, and I think that Snyder did probably do the most grounded Superman, but I still just don't feel like it's grounded to the point where Matt Reeves is taking the Batman. So it'd just be interesting to see if like J.J. Abrams can actually pull something like that off with his movie that's coming up here. We'll see. I don't know who's directing either. I think Abrams is just producing the Superman coming up. So yeah. So it should be interesting, but regardless, I think this is cool. I like that. I like JJ and Matt Reeves teaming up again. Like I said last time they did that, we got Cloverfield, obviously a really fun movie. So I'm excited to see that duo come back and do something else that's pretty cool. So hopefully,
yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right. So keep it on the Batman train a little bit, but shift in a little gears. So a Batgirl movie is officially happening. It is going to be directed by Bad Boys for Life directors. I am totally going to butcher their names. Aldi El Arbi and Bilal Fala, I believe is their names. They're the guys who directed Bad Boys for Life last year. One of the highest grossing films of last year, which is a fact. And then who do we have writing it? And then it's Christina Hodson, who worked on Birds of Prey, and Christina Burr, who worked on Cruella, is going to be producing. So Christina Hodson will be writing, Kristen Burr producing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that much about Batgirl, but I'm really looking forward to it. I would watch a movie based on her 100%. So I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved Bad Boys for Life, directed by, I'm not even going to attempt to say those names again, but, they...
I also did like Bad Boys for Life.
It was great.
It was all right.
I thought it was super cool. It was actually, I put it in my honorable mentions list for last year. I really loved that movie a lot. I had criticisms about the first two Bad Boys, and I think that they took it in a direction that was much better for those two characters, and that's what I really respected about it. So if they do something new and cool with Batgirl, then yeah, I mean, why not? And I think that they deserve that gig, considering the success that Bad Boys for Life had, and it had that success for good reason. It was a really fun, entertaining, incredible film in a lot of ways. I mean, it was. I really enjoyed that film myself personally, and I know the Bad Boys fans for the most part were pretty thrilled with it, and the people who weren't fans of Bad Boys were also thrilled with it, which is no easy feat, you know. So that's something yeah, I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due, right? And I think that they just definitely deserve this gig and to do something in the comic book genre, and I think they'll do some really cool things with it. I hope that they do Bad Boys 4 as well. I mean, I'm sure it's getting a fourth one now. I mean, come on. I mean, that last one made tons of money. And I hope that they have the time to helm that and this. But either way, I mean, I think it's really cool. But yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anything to add.
Cool. All right, what's next?
All right, so moving on, our last bit of Batman news for today, that we have our first look at Riddler in some of Paul Dano's Riddler. Why I say look is because it's like, I understand that this is a picture of him in the movie and he's in a costume, but I'm like, I can't see his face.
Yeah.
It's literally, it looks like a trash bag with glasses drawn on.
Yeah.
Or glasses, like some cheap, like 3D glasses put on over, and then just a trench coat. Like, this could be anybody. You could tell me this is a picture of Selena Kyle, and I'd be like, all right, it looks weird. I wish I could see more. Like, I can't tell who it is. Like I've said, this is one of my most anticipated movies of coming out next year, right? Of next year. And I'm like, it's a blob. It looks like a blob. Yeah. I'll trust you that that's Paul Dano. It raises my excitement 0. It lowers my excitement 0.
Yeah, I mean, somebody had to get that leak that this is the Riddler, right? Because we can't really even tell that that's Paul Dano.
It has to be a scene. It has to be, they had been filming a scene or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, possibly. But, you know, I mean, assuming this is actually Paul Dano and his look, I mean, for some reason, and don't ask me why, the assumption online seems to be that he's going to be wearing the mask throughout the whole movie, and I highly doubt that's the case. I think that he's going to
kind of hate that.
If he just covered his face the whole time, I wouldn't like that. But that seems to be the assumption online, and of course, people are yelling and screaming because this looks nothing like the Riddler from the comics, so... I again, who cares?
Yeah. See, I'm like, I don't even care that it doesn't look like the comics. I just care that, like, it's a blob. It's an unconcerned, like, it's just a blob.
Yeah,
I don't know what this is. To be fair, now that I'm thinking about it, the Batman does have a bad reputation with their promo photos, because I remember when that first, like, shot of Battinson, and it was like, you could barely see it. Like, It was genuinely so dark. And the joke was like, this is going to be a darker movie. And it was like, but literally, it's literally darker. You can't see anything. I can't see it.
They're not going to fully...
How am I supposed to be excited if I can't see it?
They're not going to fully leak this, at least until the first, like, full trailer comes out. Like, we've had that teaser, and I don't think that they're going to fully leak anything until we see a first full trailer at the very least, and maybe not even then. You know, I think they want to keep a lot of surprises here. And that's probably Paul Dano in the picture, but, like, the thing that intrigued me the most about the look itself was the fact that, like, he definitely looks like he's been burnt or something on top of his head. So that was interesting. But I'm cool with that.
There's a meaning behind it.
Yeah, like, I'm cool with that.
And you can even see on top, there's, like, the mask isn't fully covering. Like, you can, looking at the top of it, there's something else that the mask isn't fully covering. Yeah. Looking at it deeper now.
Yeah, I think it's a cool, like, it's going to be a darker direction. So, like, to me, in my opinion, I don't know why people are getting so mad. It's like, it's going to be a darker looking Riddler. All the villains are going to have their own look to them, and I think that's part of the film. Like, it's just crazy to me how we have to have these conversations every time where people think that everything has to be exactly like the comic books, and filmmakers can't come in and just do their own thing anymore. It's weird to me. It's weird to me that that's a thing now. It used to be like, it used to not matter, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, when Christopher Nolan was doing Batman, people were like, cool, you know, like, they didn't give a shit, you know. It was like, nobody.
Well, I mean, the internet was not what it currently is,
right?
That's the big thing.
Yeah,
that explains a lot.
And then he did when he got around to Dark Knight Rises, that's when people started going crazy, I feel like, because that's when the Bane thing happens. Like, Bane doesn't look like he did in the comics. It's like, okay, chill. You know, it's like, let's watch the movie and then judge it.
Too,
it was.
You, like, couldn't understand him, you know.
Yeah. The internet's stupid and irritating. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of where I like the photo for the most part. Obviously, it doesn't give us much, but like I'm like, yeah, they're not going to, you know, so I'm okay with this photo. I don't think it's like too much, but interesting to get a look at it, kind of, you know, and just see like, you know, yeah, we're gonna make our villains look a little bit darker too, and they're gonna look like the way we want them to look and not so much like the comics. I love that personally. So yeah, I'm good with it. Did you have anything else to add?
No.
All right. What's next?
All right, next up, we have got our first official trailer for the Friends reunion. I believe, what was it called? The one where they all get back together?
Yes.
It's something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's coming out May 27th, I want to say. It doesn't say here. That was just off the top
It's
of my
right
head.
around the corner. I know that.
Right around the corner. It's very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's in May. It's before the end of the month.
Right.
Yeah, this trailer was just so charming. The only thing I'm a little confused on is like I was under the assumption that it was just a new episode. Like it would be an hour-long episode of Friends where they all get back together and there would be like meta jokes here and there, but it wouldn't be like an interview. So watching this, I was like, oh, okay. So it's like an interview thing. It's like a trip down memory lane. Yeah, it's a trip down memory lane type of special. Yeah. But I think it looked like they filmed some stuff where they're in full character, because that's what I want. That's the thing. I love Friends. And I love the actors, and I love talking about the nostalgia of Friends. But what I really love about Friends is when they're in character. Like, I want the characters back. I want to see Ross and Rachel talking to each other again. I want to see Phoebe again. I love Lisa Kudrow, but I want to see Phoebe Buffay. So that's my only, like, kind of, I guess, caveat on here. But I couldn't be more excited. My whole family's going to watch this the day it comes out, because we're all huge Friends fans, like my whole family. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
so happy.
I have a theory. Because it did definitely look like that they were back in character for a couple scenes there, and they were like split-second type scenes. But I bet you they announced another season at the end of this. And they show a trailer for that.
I can't believe that. Like I said before, that's such a big deal that I can't even get slight hopes up. Like I can't. Like I need it to be official. Because again, like the idea of a Friends reunion has been floating around for a very long time.
Yeah.
But now that there's an actual trailer and a date, I'm like, okay, it's actually coming out though. It's actually happening. They filmed it. It's happening.
Yeah.
So just to hear a rumor like that, I'm like, I need Jennifer Aniston to look me in the eye and say we're doing another season for me to believe it.
Yeah, I think that they might. I got to be honest, because the more I hear them talk about it, like throughout the years, I mean, these are guys that actually like didn't have like weird relationships.
And money's tough right now. That's the thing. Money's tough right now.
It is, like, and they didn't have like a weird relationship together, working together, like as a lot of sitcoms do.
They're all still friends.
They're all still really, really good friends. You know, there wasn't a lot of drama behind the scenes, you know, between them, and they really got along. I think that if any of them are going to come back, like the classic sitcoms, it's going to be this one. And I don't know why HBO Max wouldn't want to have one. I honestly, it just makes sense at this point. And like a lot of them are not doing anything anymore. Let's be honest. I mean, Matt LeBlanc is probably the one doing the most right now. He's got his own sitcom, and that's it. And like the rest of them, you never see anymore. Why wouldn't you do one last season?
Jennifer Aniston, I'd still say, is probably the most famous out of all of them.
Yeah.
I would, if you ask me like who's the most famous, who had the biggest career, who still has the biggest career, like I still think it's Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
But currently working,
But what's she doing now? The last two movies I think she did like completely tanked, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of them haven't, and I think that like people this would be reinvigorating for all their careers. First of all,
oh my god, 100%.
It's a smart move all the way around. There's no downside to it, really. I mean, the only downside is the off chance that the writing sucks or something.
That's bad.
Yeah. But
if you get like Marta Kaufman, David Crane, like the original producers, you get them back. There's no way in hell they let a bad season of Friends run.
100%, 100%, and it would be good, and people would, and even if it was like it didn't have this like big definitive ending to it, people would understand like what it was. You know what I mean? It was just them coming back, so you could see the characters. Where are they now? And I don't think an hour.
'Cause that's what I want.
Yeah, I just don't think an hour runtime justifies Friends for people. I don't think it's enough. I think that they probably are going to do more, and I think that they're going to show like a little bit of it. They might have like started filming it, and they might show a little bit of it at the end or something. I don't know, but I think that it just makes sense. I think it makes sense. But as far as the trailer goes itself, I loved it. It put a smile on my face. I'm a massive Friends. What do you kids call it now? Stan. I'm a massive Friends stan. Yeah. Stan. So yeah, I love it, and I think that. You know, I was happy. I almost had a tear come to my eye. Like, I gotta be honest with you. This is one of those moments.
So did I. Yeah. Towards the end, I got like a little emotional because they were talking about like, because at the very end, it's when they're like, because we're all such great friends and we've kept in touch and we've wanted to do this and we just love the show so much. I was like, yeah, me too.
I know, and I think because of the impact that the show's had, I just don't see a 1 hour special doing it. You know, I don't see that, and like I think it'll be great to see. Don't get me wrong, and I'll be glad to have it. You know, regardless if they announce another season or not. But I think that they're gonna announce another season, and I'll come on here and say I'm wrong again if I am. I just think it's gonna happen. I have this really strong feeling about it, and I think that you know, the other thing that's about this, like, I knew that this was going to be not another episode, and the reason I knew that was because of the way that they handled the Fresh Prince reunion, which was essentially they came back to the house, you know, and
it was this. It was the blueprint for this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be that same structure, I'm sure, for the most part.
Did they do like scripted bits during that? 'Cause I didn't watch that.
No.
Oh man.
No,
I think they did for this one though, because that's all I want. No. All I want is for them to just get back in character again with each other on that set.
Yeah, like, it would be cool.
That's all I want in this world.
It would be cool, but I feel like on the same hand, it'd be disappointing. You know, like it would be great to see, and I would be grateful for what I got.
I'd be pretty satisfied. I feel like I would be pretty satisfied. Not gonna lie.
If it was like 15 minutes, really.
If it was like an hour-long thing and 15 minutes of it was like a little episode, a little like epilogue almost, where you bring people back, because also like Tom Selleck is coming back, Reese Witherspoon, so like have all those characters come back, just have them drop by, have it be like, I don't know, they're Monica and Chandler throwing a big dinner or something and everyone keeps popping in, like something like that is my dream, is what I would have pitched until I was out of breath if I was in the room for this.
Yeah, see, the only reason I feel like they're not going to do that is because the way the Fresh Prince was. But if they tease another season, that makes more sense to me. I feel like people would be more satisfied with that explanation. I think that the actors are just down to do it. I think that they are. I think that this is something that people have been begging for a long time. One more season, you can make it 10 episodes and I'd be satisfied. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be like this big long season of Friends. You can do a 10 episode deal and it'd be like, oh wow, oh my god. I mean, can you imagine the reaction though if they announced it from people like
full season?
Yeah, folks like you and I, stands like you and myself.
I mean, pass out.
Exactly.
Like, oh no.
Exactly. It would be amazing, and it would be a big win for HBO Max. I promise you that. I mean, you'd get subscribers
again if it was
crazy.
Written and produced again by Marta Kaufman and David Crane. If it's written and produced by them,
well, who else are they gonna get to do it? I mean, like,
but you know what I mean. Like, they could be like executive producers or something, and have like HBO people actually write and direct it and stuff. It's possible. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, I think that this will be great regardless. I really do. And I think that I can't wait to see it. I'll say that right now. Like, I still can't wait to see the hour special. They handled the Fresh Prince one incredibly well. It was a great little special. I really enjoyed that one a lot, and a lot more than I thought I would ever enjoy it. And you learned a lot about what went on behind the scenes on that, and that was really cool. So I'm definitely interested in that and intrigued in that. But I just don't feel like an hour is enough. Like, it's like, again, because there are just so many, like, first of all, think about all the iconic moments that they have to touch on and talk about, and like, I don't know.
That's the thing. I'm like, you're gonna talk about all of them in 60 minutes, because I even seeing the list of people that are like slated to appear, and I'm like, some of these are gonna be like a minute long segments or something. I feel like.
Yeah, I just feel like it's gonna be too quick. I think that's gonna be the reaction. But if they if they end it with an announcement, that's gonna be like, okay, that was the greatest thing in the world. I'm so glad I'm so glad I watched that 55 minutes. But I watched that 55 minutes for that little 5-minute teaser at the end there, or whatever it might be.
Sure.
And it just, I think that was, I think that's gonna be, I think that's the way to go. I really do. If you were to do anything with that, because I know we could sit here and talk Friends all day, you and I, for sure. I mean, we're. I can't wait to talk about it when it's out. Tell you that. Just hear your take on it. And it'll be a great discussion for sure. It'll be a great discussion to have on the show. So, I'm sure Cisco will want to be left out of that. I feel like he hates Friends for some reason, but maybe I'm wrong.
Does he not like Friends?
I don't know. I feel he strikes me as the type of guy that doesn't like Friends. I don't know about you, but he definitely strikes me as the type of guy that doesn't like Friends.
I could see why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm making an assumption. Maybe he like comments on this and is like, "Dude, I love Friends. What the fuck are you talking about?"
No, I see it really going either way.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, he might hate Friends. I don't know. Yeah, I never asked him. Never asked him, I guess. Love Friends. Love Friends.
Oh my god, absolutely. I was gonna say, love seeing Janice pop in there at the end.
Oh yeah.
Always in my heart of hearts, everyone's like, which Friends character are you? And I was like, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm Janice. So we love seeing her. I'm a cross between Janice and Chandler. Like, if I'm honest with myself.
You're not Janice.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're not Janice. Don't worry about it.
I'm not that annoying, but like who we are as people, I'm like, I see you, Janice.
Yeah.
I see you right there. You crazy. I see you.
What's next?
So yeah. Next up, we're switching to some Star Wars news. Star Wars The Bad Batch's composer Kevin Kiner has tweeted out that the ending was so sad it made him cry. That was pretty much a thing. It was just in a tweet saying that someone asked him, quick question, is it normal, or he said, quick question, is it normal to be working on a cue so hard you start crying? Leading to The Bad Batch. So we got some tear-jerking moments coming toward us with The Bad Batch. What do you got on this, Dom?
Filoni's really good at doing this to us. I mean, he's definitely in Clone Wars quite a bit. He definitely toys with the emotions. So I could see him doing that, but like I can also see this being a thing where maybe a big character dies and then fans are pissed off and they don't like Dave Filoni anymore. Something along those lines. It's possible it happens. Because I know that people don't like their favorite characters to die in Star Wars, and like I know how they get. So that's the worry side of this, is like, is he gonna kill somebody that fans love, and then they're just like, you know what I mean? Fuck you, Dave Filoni, because like it just seems like Star Wars fans don't like to be hit with that for whatever reason sometimes, but I do. I love it. I'm down to get, see whatever he wants to give me to toy with my emotions. He's done it really well in the past. So he has. He's just developed characters to a point to where you're like, you're just very sad for, where their paths go, or you're just so happy that you want to cry because of where their paths go, or just like, whatever the case may be. I'm assuming this has something to do surrounding the Omega character. I'm sure it's going to have something to do with that for sure. That'd be just a wild guess because of,
how does she say it?
Omega. Yeah, right? That's right. Omega. Yeah, Omega. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so so I'm sure it has something to do with that. Something to do with the relationship between her and the Bad Batch. I'm sure there's going to be something there that's going to really touch us. It could just be something with just like a lot of heart, you know what I mean, too. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a sad thing. It could just have like so much heart that you're just like, you feel it, and I could see that being the case easily considering the dynamic of the show. So, we'll see. That last episode, actually, as many criticisms as I kind of had for it, I mean, it definitely had a lot of heart there at the end. You know, that was not tear jerking necessarily, but you know, I could definitely see somebody like, you know, being really touched by it. You know, so it doesn't surprise me. That's all I'll say. It doesn't surprise me at all. But I think it's cool, and it's definitely the awards are definitely incentive for the fans that are like, I don't know if I want to start watching this. You know what I mean? Because there's like something coming up here. Obviously, it's going to be huge, and that's what I think is the coolest thing about this story. Is I hope that people you know, do start watching this for sure, that haven't jumped on board.
I'm people.
Your people, yes. I'm talking I'm directly to you. Please watch this show. All right. Anyway,
thank you.
Yeah.
Heard, understood.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome. So our next story. All right, our next story is, so it is still being rumored that Daisy Ridley, it may return as Rey in some Star Wars project, may it be film or Disney Plus series. But the website Giant Freaking Robot is the new whistleblower, I guess, in this story. I was saying to Tom that like it just keeps somewhere there are conversations happening about this by someone somewhere in an important way, because this story just keeps popping up everywhere, it seems like, by different people, different ways, different things, that I'm like, there have to be some conversation somewhere. Because again, I don't want to say that like I believe it and that it's happening, or that I think it's going to happen anytime soon, because I necessarily don't. But I do believe some conversations, some serious conversations are going down right now. That has to be true.
I think so. It like you said, it just keeps resurfacing. You know, I when I was on vacation last week, I really couldn't spend a day avoiding this story because it just seemed like it was popping up every day, and I was like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I love Daisy and the character. Do I need her right now? No. I can spend some time without her personally. I want more of her in the future, that's for sure. But the fact is like, this is also being backed. I mean, they don't work for big trades, but there are credible sources also backing this and saying like, hey, I've heard this too. There's definitely conversations being had. So I believe it is happening soon, honestly, sooner than we thought. I don't think it's going to be, you know, again, I don't have any scoops or anything. You know, I just know that there are credible sources definitely backing the story. So that's kind of what I'm going off of. And I think that this is going to happen sooner rather than later. I think that, you know, I mean, Star Wars Celebration's coming back next year. I say pull Daisy out, you know, and announce a Rey series that takes place between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. The biggest problem people have had with Rey in the first place is the fact that she feels underdeveloped to a lot of people. And I think that this is nothing but good news, because I think they like Daisy in the role. You know what I mean? I think most people do. I just think that they're like, I want more development for the character itself. So bring her out. Announce that John and Dave are helming the show, which actually makes a lot of sense to me based on the fact that they're kind of teasing some sequel stuff, or tie-ins anyway, in The Mandalorian. So I think they want to tell a story that really repairs, quote unquote, the sequels, and as far as enhancing the story that's being told in those films. And I think in order to do that, they probably went to Kathleen Kennedy and were like, hey, we want to tell the story. This is what we have planned, but we need just a couple of missing pieces. You know, is there any way you can get Daisy and as Rey, do this with her between, you know, and somehow they will tie it all together that way. I think it'll do nothing but enhance those movies if you do a series with Daisy Ridley as Rey. I think it's a good idea. Again, I don't need her myself right now. I thought it was going to be later. I think Samee and I both agreed that we thought it was going to be Ryan's movies, that she was going to be coming in. But I actually think that with the way that this is resurfacing, Star Wars Celebration next year, I bet you that they pull her out. I bet you there's some kind of announcement, whether that show's going to come out in 2023 or 2024, who knows. But somewhere in that range, maybe 2025, like the latest I say. I bet you we see something with Rey by 2025. That's my guess right now. I don't know. I mean, Daisy can come out and be like, oh, nothing's going on, and I still wouldn't believe her because this is the way that it works. I mean, Ewan McGregor was lying for years about Obi-Wan. He was definitely having those conversations, which I think is another thing to remember, is the fact that Ewan McGregor was holding this for years. So if she's in conversation, that means that it could be a few years before something actually happens, too. You know what I mean? So that's possible as well. But I actually think it's going to be sooner rather than later. I bet you she shows up at Star Wars Celebration next year, and if you do something with Rey that's helmed by John and Dave, then I say why not? You know what I mean? Seriously, it sounds really, really cool if that's the case. And the other reason that I think that might be the case is that a lot of people say that she's rumored to be in Mandalorian season 3, and I don't think that's the case. I think that they're probably hearing she's having conversations with John and Dave and assuming she will be a Mandalorian season 3. I actually don't know how you would make that work, honestly, but yeah, she might be doing something that's helmed by John and Dave, though. That's a very high possibility, considering it seems like they want to take their story that they're telling and tying it into the sequels, a little bit. So I don't know. That's where I'm at, but yeah, I don't know. Rumor. Yeah. Still a rumor. Gotta classify it as a rumor, considering no big trade has broke the story or anything. So what do you got, Samee? What's next?
Yep. All right, so next up we have some trailers. First one is for the new A24 movie, The Green Knight, starring Dev Patel and Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
So I didn't know much going in. I just kind of watched the trailer, and as I'm watching it, I go, is this an adaptation of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which is like kind of an old, like, Arthurian, British legend,
right?
That I read when I was in a college class, which I actually really liked. It's really cool. If you don't know, it's just about it's called Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and the Green Knight is like big giant, and he just walks into like King Arthur's court, and he's like, I demand like a battle. And so Sir Gawain, who I believe was probably Dev Patel's character, at least a version of that character, then takes the challenge, and he says something like, you can strike me once and I can strike you once as well. Like, that's the rule. And so Sir Gawain goes and chops off his head, which you do see in the trailer, presumably killing him, and that was his one shot. But it doesn't kill him. And the giant goes, you have 1 year, and then I will make my strike. I will then have my revenge, my retaliation, basically. And your strikes are done. And so then it's about like that year, and Sir Gawain like goes on this whole journey. It's a whole thing, but it's a really great story. J.R.R. Tolkien did a translation, which is the one I actually read.
Oh, cool.
Which was quite good. Yeah, it was good. It was cool and good. And this movie looks cool and good. It has that like medieval adventure, but also magic aesthetic that I really like. I don't know, I can attribute it to also kind of like Chronicles of Narnia and even Lord of the Rings too. That whole kind of aesthetic and vibe that I am super into, and like kind of have a soft spot for. Like, I just really love that aesthetic and vibe and tone. So this trailer honestly has me. This was not on my radar, and now I'm like, can't wait to watch it, because I'm definitely gonna watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know a lot about the source material, but now you just kind of explained it to me, so great. But I did love the trailer. I thought the trailer looked great. I think it's awesome that A24 is tackling like a fantasy type movie like this. That's really intriguing to me. A24 seems to not be able to miss these days. I mean, they really are one of the best movie studios out there making shit right now. So
they're the ones to beat, honestly.
Yeah.
They're the new kid on the block that everyone else is just trying to make sure they're as cool as and as good as. Yeah, they're the ones to beat.
For sure. I mean, this looks like one of the highest budget things that they've ever done too, so that intrigues me quite a bit, and it fascinates me, and I'm excited about that, and I hope it's something that is actually like a blockbuster. You know what I mean? Like, like not made like your usual blockbuster. I want them to stick to their A24 guns and make it that way, but I hope that it gets released as a blockbuster, is considered a blockbuster when it comes out. First of all, I mean, the shots were stunning in the trailers too. I mean, it looks beautiful. There's no doubt about it. It looks gorgeous. So clearly it's the person behind the camera here knows what they're doing. I love Dev Patel as well. I think he's a really talented actor. He seems to not miss. I mean, anytime I see him in something, it's great. You know, I think he makes really smart choices. So I trust his judgment on scripts. Do you remember Lion? Lion was so good. He was great in Lion.
I never saw it. I really wanted to see it. I forget why I didn't see it, but I was dying to at the time. And now it's just been so long, but I did not see it, but
yeah, I mean,
knew it was incredible.
Oh yeah, Dev Patel is so good in Lion, and it's probably my favorite role of his till this day. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this movie it definitely excites me. I mean, I'm super stoked to watch it, and it looks up my alley. That's the other thing, you know, it's A24 making something that looks incredibly up my alley in terms of the sort of fantasy type genre. I just think that's really cool, and love the way it looked in terms of the shots. It looks incredible. I cannot wait to see it. Hopefully it's great. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So this is our last piece of news today. Also a trailer for the official trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, starring Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson. I loved the first one when it came out. I thought it was so weird, but I didn't love it, but I had a lot of respect for it and had a great time. Like when I left that theater, I was like, this is the best. I'm having the best time. Yeah, and it's just the thing about Venom is that it needs to be campy. I can't take Venom seriously, and I don't think Venom is necessarily meant for you to be taken 100% seriously. It needs that element of camp in there, which there were trails of in the first one. There wasn't quite enough. I think it could have been upped up a lot more, and it just would have been better. But I mean, this trailer looks awesome, and we have Andy Serkis coming to direct this one as well. So, and I mean, he's known for kind of having that. I mean, he does motion capture, like, for the love of God. Like, you can't do motion capture and not have a part of you that's like self-aware and knows how campy and ridiculous this is. So, I have faith and trust. I can't wait to watch it. The trailer looks great. What do you think?
Yeah, I did not like this trailer. I thought it was terrible. I didn't like the first movie, so you know, take that into consideration that I did not like the first film, and this movie looked like the trailer looked like it's just gonna give us more of that bullshit that they did in the first movie. So, or what was bullshit to me anyway. I think that I disagree with you, Samee. I think that there is a version of the Venom character that can be taken seriously, and I think that they just did not do that in the first movie, and I think that's what bothered me about it so much is the fact that they marketed it as a movie that was, you know, made to be taken seriously, and they just, kind of went the other way on that one. So I thought that movie really sucked, that first one, and I think that really sucked is a strong word. There were some redeemable parts, but, you know, what were you going to say?
Have you ever seen I want to say it was in Japan. Have you ever seen the Japanese marketing for the first Venom? No. It's insane. They literally, I feel like I just have to find a picture. I don't even know how to describe it.
No, I don't think I did.
It's how it should have been marketed in everywhere.
Yeah.
It's funny. Hold on. I'm gonna find it.
While you're doing that, I was hoping that, you know, changing directors to Andy Serkis might be a good thing, but then again, I was already skeptical because Andy Serkis's last movie sucked in terms of his directing. Mowgli was terrible. And like, I mean, you know, I love Andy Serkis. I think he's one of the greatest human beings on the face of the earth. So that's no slight at him for trying. I don't trust his direction, and I don't think this movie's going to be for me anyway. I think that, you know, if you like the first one, you're probably going to love this trailer, you know, because it does a lot of the things that the first one did. It's just, for me, it didn't get me on board. And I think what it needs to try to do is try to get fans, especially if you're in the marketing stage of things, you got to try to get fans that aren't fans of the first movie and get them on board. This was not that. I mean, this definitely was not that. This was definitely like, hey, if you love the first movie, check this one out. We're going to do the first movie, but 10 times more. And it's like, oh God, you know, and I hate that. I hated that for myself myself. I hated the experience watching this. I Venom making breakfast. Are you fucking kidding me?
I just gave in to the camp. Yeah, I just gave in to the camp. I just realized like it was kind of watching it. I was like, oh, this is stupid, and I'm gonna watch it, understanding that it's stupid.
Yeah.
So I forgave it a bit for.
Yeah, I mean, listen, do I blame the studio or do I blame Sony for going this way with it? Not necessarily, because the first one worked. Whatever it did, it worked. It made a lot of money. I recognize that. So don't get me wrong. You know, I don't blame them for going in that direction, but I also think when it comes down to your marketing material, you got to try to get the people, because there were still a lot of people that were disappointed in Venom. We got to remember that. Yes. And I think in the marketing material, you got to try to do things that is going to get people like me, you know, who weren't on board to buy a ticket to the theater, even if you fuck me over when I get there, you know, at least get my ass in the seat, you know, and this is not getting my ass in the seat. I will watch it out of curiosity. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Woody Harrelson and Tom Hardy as actors, so I want to support the material they do, and I think that I am curious to see Woody Harrelson's Carnage. I have been since I saw the ending of the last one. That was one of the decisions that excited me. I think that's a really cool choice. So I mean, I'm excited about that on some level. Don't get me wrong. I think that could be cool, but if he's like completely camp and not an intimidating villain, then I'm not going to be into it. Let's be honest here. And this movie just did not sell me, or this trailer did not sell me. I thought the comedy routine was ridiculous. I don't know why Tom Hardy signed on to do this role in the first place, especially with the direction they went in with it. I think that it was just a terrible opportunity in terms of, you know, flexing that acting muscle that he has in this. It's like, I know he's trying to do his best, but it's terrible miscasting for the direction that they want to go for the character. Tom Hardy's an incredible actor, no doubt about it, but he was poorly miscast here for the direction that they were going in. If they went in that dark direction, then yeah, you get Tom Hardy. He would have been much better for that. But I thought that this is one of the worst trailers I've ever seen. You kidding me? Like, this thing looked awful. I'm not excited for it. I'm happy for the people that are. That's all. That's where I'll end that. But what were you gonna show me?
This most importantly, so this is real. I don't know if you could really tell, but
what
that's
the fuck?
Venom taking a selfie with 3 young girls. There's more here. He's holding an umbrella for said young girl. These are all real. He's helping her shop, holding all of her bags.
Yeah.
But I think there's one more in there on a subway together. This for me, this is Venom. This is what Venom is to me. So this is the lowest bar I'm expecting.
Okay.
So like it needs to be as good as this or better, which is a low stake.
Yeah. Well, I don't live in Japan, so I'm perfectly fine with just loving the version of Venom that I wanted in the film, and that the version that they marketed to me in that first movie, and that's not what they gave me. So, I'm glad Japan got the marketing right, though. I mean, that's definitely what the movie is.
I think that was China.
100%, 100% what they're going for. So they actually got the marketing right. I'm glad that they do, for sure.
No, thank God someone gets it.
Because in the States, they bamboozled us here in the States. Let's be honest. With that first movie, they did. They were like, watch those trailers. It doesn't look anything.
You weren't expecting like Batman Begins is like what everyone was expecting.
Not even that necessarily. I don't even
like it was something like, but like the dark, gritty, like no camp, like just business. You know, type of thing.
It's gonna sound weird because it's not necessarily a great example of a film, but I was expecting something along the lines of the tone of that first Amazing Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean? That first one. With Andrew Garfield, like that tone I wanted, but I wanted it to be like a better movie, I guess, or a more solid flick. But I was expecting more of that tone where it was like, they were trying to at least go for, I give that movie credit because it tried to go for a darker Spider-Man. I wanted them to try to go for a darker Venom here, and they missed, you know, I think. And like, especially when you cast Tom Hardy in the role, what am I supposed to think? You know, Tom Hardy signed on to a goofy ass comedy, you know, and that's what the movie was. Nobody expected that, and I don't like it at all. I gotta be honest. Like, I don't think it's an awful movie. It has redeemable parts, the first one, but
Michelle Williams's wig like still haunts me sometimes.
Yeah, I know, it's
like
bad.
Sometimes I'm like, there was the thing is decisions like that there were meetings upon meetings upon meetings about what this woman's hair was going to look like, and at the end of all of that they come out with the most garbage wig of all time.
Yeah. It was bad.
Like, it's unfathomable.
It was bad. It's
disgusting.
Really
it should
bad.
Be rioted over.
That's the other thing that bothers me.
So bad.
Her and Tom Hardy had no chemistry in that movie. That's another thing that bothers the hell out of me. They had no chemistry whatsoever. They did not work well. That really bothered me. You know, and the other thing I'll say about it is, it was crazy when you think back to the first Venom. How, you know, when critics saw it, they were like, "This thing's gonna fucking tank." Like, people are not gonna like this, and then people loved it. It was like, holy shit. But I felt the same way when I saw it.
It has a niche audience, I think.
Yeah.
And it needed to find it, and those people liked it, and that was about it.
Yeah, well, they got the Deadpool version of Venom. Great, you know. It's like they did. They were like, oh, Deadpool did well. Let's make this more comedic. That's how it felt to me. And then it's like, oh god, oh god. It was just, it was a big misstep to me. I mean, I guess people like casual viewers who know nothing about the Venom character, they're probably gonna love the movie. You know what I mean? I get that. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I get where the love comes from. But for people like me who know the Venom character a little bit, and I it's not that I expect no comedy. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I don't think it should have no levity, no comedy. The first Amazing Spider-Man had comedy. You know what I mean? Like, it went for a darker tone. This one, I feel like it was a big misstep on their part, and they probably should have went for a darker tone. I think that the first movie might not have tanked. The second one won't even tank. But if they keep going, they'll eventually lose the luster, I feel like, in all honesty, for people. I just don't see it being something that can sustain. Then again, you know, I'm curious, you know what I mean? Because Tom Holland might show up in this one. It's possible, you know, like they shot something with him for the first one, but they had to cut it because of, you know, the whatever disagreements that were going on there behind the scenes. So he might show up in this one. There's a pretty good chance. So I'm definitely curious. I'm going to go see it. If he shows up, that'll be one redeemable thing about it, I guess. But I don't know. I just wanted something darker. And I don't know. Not for me. This version of the character is not for me. So, yeah. Was that the last of the news, or did you have anything else to add?
The last of the news. Nope.
Nothing to add.
That was the last.
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add.
All right.
That wig was awful.
It was bad.
That's it.
It was
That's
bad.
all I care about.
Yeah.
That's the most passion I have about anything regarding Venom.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not trying to rain on your parade either, Sammy. If you think this looks cool, go see it. I hope you have a good time. I really do. But yeah, anyway, so that'll wrap it up today, guys. Thank you for joining very, very much. That's we'll see you guys on next Wednesday. And yeah, before we go, we do have a merch store now. Once again, merch.streamelements.com/Anorak. Make sure you go check that out. Also over here, as you can see, you can send us tips. You can have your messages read out on the show. That's streamelements.com/Anorak/tip. And if you want to talk to us for free, go to Stereo. We're both on there now, so go follow us at Dom Martino and at Samee Ramirez. Much appreciated. And then also, guys, before we go, please follow the Twitter and Instagram pages at Anorak's Official on both. And you can also, please like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Hit the bell for notifications. Leave feedback in the comment section. Do all that, guys. That would be really, really wonderful. And yeah, before we go as well, Sammy, where can people find you?
Yes, you guys can find me over on Instagram. I'm at Samee Ramirez 14, and then over on Twitter and Stereo, like Dom said, at Samee Ramirez.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ and on Instagram Dom_Martino_official. Yeah, so go follow us all there to keep up with everything that's going on. Also, real quick, another show that we are doing on Mondays is movie night. So that's going to be hosted by Samee Ramirez. Sammy, what can people expect over there?
Yeah, so our first episode is out right now. It is a review of The Princess Bride, one of the best movies of all time. So you can go check that out. And yeah, it's our movie review show. It's full spoilers. We pick a different movie each week. Next week, it's Dom's choice. It's Dom taking over for the day. And then I think after that, we will be having a Quiet Place Part 2 review. Will be the week after that. So yeah, come hang out and spoiler talk some movies.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it's really, really fun, guys. It's one of my favorite things that we've ever added to this channel, so definitely check it out for sure. Yeah, so next Monday I will be hosting movie night. We'll be doing Army of the Dead, so definitely come on over there and check that out for sure. Yeah, but before we go, again, follow us on everything, and I hope everybody has a good night, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Good night.